Hey guys, got another video coming to you. And in this video, I wanted to talk about retirement. So for many people, it's their life goal to get to retirement. And for many people, they want to try to retire early. I know that's one of my remaining life goals, is I would like to be financially independent because I would like to control all my time. And that's what retirement is. It's the controlling of all your time. You no longer in the workforce, so you can spend time doing what you want. You've secured a level of financial independence, hopefully. For many people in America, a big part of that is Social Security. For about 35% of Americans, Social Security is their main source of income. It depends what study you look at, but Social Security averages for the average person around $1,200 per month, which is just above poverty, because $1,000 or less per month in the United States of America, as I make this video, is the poverty line. And Social Security is a socialist program. It's run by the government, not for profit. Capitalism is when programs are ran by private companies for profit. So that's what it is. And that was basically instituted after the Great Depression, when capitalism collapsed, when basically there was a run on the banks in the early around 1930 or so. And, the government had to intervene and ensure some social programs so that there was a level of a safety net in society where you didn't have mass destitute. And that spurred a lot of other things, but that's part of retirement and part of how society looks at it. That's what I want to address. I mean, the financial aspect of it and the reason for it, and then the greater context of it. The greater context of retirement is you dream of one day owning your own time, so that you don't have to punch the clock to chase paper money for currency, and that you now can do what you want. For many people, doing what they want is traveling. They want to travel. And for some people, it may be moving to Florida. It may be relocating, downsizing. Downsizing is a big part of retirement. Because again, retirement is you've got some type of secure income where you don't have to work, and then you're basically saying, all right, I don't have to work, so I know what makes me happy in life. For some people, living in a state such as Florida, being by the beach will be in their mind. That's going to make them happy. For some people, traveling, maybe even traveling around the world, is going to make them happy. Everyone's going to now reposition their life at this certain age of retirement to do mainly what makes them happy, mainly what they've been waiting their whole life to do. And so the problem is to downsize, to move, to travel. All these things now require one thing that money can't buy, and that's energy. Energy is how much will you have in your body and brain and spirit to do something. And there's like a Instagram post that says, when you're old, you have all the time, you have the money secured, but you don't have the energy. Energy is used up mainly during your working years and during your adolescence. And so I think about that. I think about, what does retirement mean to me? Why do I want to try to do it early? And even if I don't do it early, I try to position my life as I live through my life. I'm middle-aged. I'm 38. At the time I make this video, I'm 38. So I think about that, how can I position my life, even though I still have to be in the workforce, because it's just me, I have to take care of myself. I think about, how can I make my life more like a retirement life while I'm still working. Now, I said the first thing, well, what would I do right now if I was retired when I was still living in New Jersey? I live in Florida now. I said, well, the first thing I would do if I was retired would be I would downsize. I don't need this condo. I would get rid of a lot of stuff. I don't need all this. And I think that's what most people at retirement age do. They're done raising a family, even if they had one, and they got a big house, and they don't need all this anymore, and downsizing. So I said, all right, well, let me downsize, and that's what I did. And then after I liquidated all my assets, including my property, I said to myself, all right, if I was retired, what would I do next? So I will move to Florida, because I don't want to live in New Jersey in retirement. I don't want to live here now, but I was doing so for work. Eventually, I was able to get a job transfer where I could work anywhere. And so it took me a couple years, but finally I was able to live where I want. So now check 2 things off my retirement list: downsizing and then moving to Florida. And, what's the 3rd thing that I would do if I was fully retired? I would use all my time to do all the things that I enjoy to do, which would include YouTube. It include using my creativity. I would probably maybe try to, I don't know if I want to say spend more time with my mom, or maybe get her something down here. But I'm always conscious of tying goals to other people, because what I found in life, that's not the right thing. So I pull myself back from that. But other than that, for me, what retirement looks like is not having to worry about, I have a level of secure income. Everything in my life is positioned to enjoy my life as best as possible right now. I think the only thing that's missing is the total management of my own time. I'm blessed to have a job. You need a job. But I think that's it now. I think many people who are retired or at retirement age, they have their money, but they may not have the energy I have, and they may still be struggling with those 2 things: liquidating and doing what they want to do, whether that's move to another state or travel. And but I think that's an overlook at retirement and what people do, how people do it. You got to start with income. You got to have a secure income. Then you got to start with downsizing. Then you got to start with relocating, and then you got to start with just doing what you want. But now, as I'm talking this out, and part of these videos for me are sharing my life, and it is therapeutic, because it helps me center my mind. I say, damn, I'm living almost the same exact way I would live if I was retired, other than working, other than owning all my time. I do my videos and things on my off time, when I get off of work, and on the weekends and things like that. And I store them up on my phone, so I always have one to upload. I try upload every day, but I guess just the full management of my time is the only thing missing in my life. I said, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Do I enjoy anything else? Well, I enjoy videos. I would do YouTube full time. Do I have any other dreams? No, just to be financially independent, enjoy my health, and enjoy the life I've created. At a middle age, I've created a big part of retirement. And that's kind of like, I just want to share that with you. I want to share, I want to define my life, and it's good for me to articulate what I feel. And I want you to maybe you can take some of what I'm saying, and you can start to structure your mind on what retirement looks for you. And I know some people may have turned this video off right away because, they disagree, when I say socialism or socialist. And I'm not a socialist as far as I want everything socialist. But I do want to make the point that Social Security is a big part of retirement. And I think about that today as I make this video. It's 2019. And in today's political climate in America, I think about if we didn't have Social Security, and a new politician was talking about instituting it, how people would flip out. People would flip out. In America, a big part of America's society is based on capitalism, but that's only a part, because capitalism collapsed several times throughout history, but the government had to bail out corporations. They had to back savings account. Government backs the different savings accounts of Americans that you're insured up to a certain amount. And they allow corporations, they allow them to lend out more money than they actually have, which allows the economy to grow faster, which is understandable. But without the government supplying that backup, and without the government subsidizing corporations, which it does, and farmers and all those things, without it doing that, there's always going to need to be a level of socialism. Without that, you don't have anything. And it's just Facts already prove that. But I know these videos, a lot of people get contentious because part of my mindset is talking about them. But I'm not consumed by it, but I speak on it because retirement, especially retirement in the United States of America, without Social Security, 35 to 40% of Americans would be completely destitute. Almost half the population. And so if you don't address that, I think you're disingenuous. And I think that you forget history. And I think that you should think about, like, if Social Security was never in place, and if somebody was trying to introduce it now, I think they would get crucified for it. And I think a lot of people who hate on some social programs, I think they don't realize they're going to be using them, or they are using them. And you pay into them, but they're not for profit. They're government backed up. That's the difference. So, again, I try to make videos that are kind of calm and kind of just insightful, because I try not to be divisive. But I have to speak on the subject matter at hand. And to me, that was retirement. And to me, those are all the thoughts that come to my mind in retirement, and just something that I would like you to think of for your own life. And that's what I wanted to share.